a very cold Monday morning, post Valentine's Day, Monday morning. Happy Valentine's Day, everyone. Post Valentine's Day. We are here with Megan Riley. We hit it off a little while ago, Megan, and we're back together on Leadership Redefined. We have Anthony and Rich as well. Hello, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So Megan, it's great to have you. We've been chatting up a storm before we came on live here. So we'll start off with just a little bit of background about yourself. As you know, we're going to talk a little bit about your leadership style. And you have a lot of balls in the air and things going on. So we'd love to hear about that too. But welcome, Megan.
Well, thank you. I'm super excited to be here and to chat with you guys. Anytime there's conversation about leadership, I'm in. So I'm looking forward to today. So my name's Megan Riley, and I have been running a company with my sister since 1999. The company is called Tippy Toes, and that is my day job. I have, it's a children's dance franchise. And my sister started it in 1999 as a sophomore in college, and it really has grown organically in those early years. And then obviously, by the time we were both doing it full time, we were like, okay, this is a thing. We're gonna really put all of our effort and heart into this business. And so now here we are, 22 years later. We have international franchises, a total of 36 Tippy Toes franchises around the country, and recently expanded internationally, which is incredible and so exciting because we really love what we do, and we love the idea of more people getting to participate in the Tippy Toes dance classes. So that is my day job. I have also recently started a podcast called Who is Your Mama? And I speak to the moms of really exceptional, happy, fulfilled adults. I talk to their moms to kind of reverse engineer parenthood. I am a mom. I'm raising 3 little girls. I've got a 4, 6, and 8-year-old, 3 daughters I'm raising with my husband. And I really want to be as great of a parent as I can be. And I feel like I love learning. I'm in good company here, but I love learning. And I feel like I want to learn from people who have been there and done that. And so I talked to, Kyler Murray's mom. I've talked to Sarah Blakely, the founder of Spanx, Jesse Itzler, a serial entrepreneur, Shalene Johnson, who's an incredible marketing expert, Kate Parker, who's a fascinating photographer. I mean, Jay Williams. I've talked to Colin O'Brady's mom. It's been such a lesson for me, and I have learned so much. So I do that. And then just recently, I have started a radio show on BYLR Radio, which is an app that's been created by Jesse Itzler. So every weekday at 1 p.m. Eastern, I have a radio show. So that has been a whole new way to communicate, talk with people. I talk family, business, kind of all the things that make up my days. That's kind of what the radio show is about. So a lot of things going on, but I wanted all of it. And and this is the path I chose, and I have a lot of fun, and yeah, so and it's really my pleasure to get to talk to people like you, and I appreciate the work you guys are doing.
So Megan, you mentioned offline all these balls in the air that you have going on, and I love something you said. You just reiterated a little bit about you're busy and you have all these things in the air, but just I guess speak to that because you have a really good attitude about that, and then we'll talk a little bit about the entrepreneurship piece as well as your leadership style. But just thoughts on that and have it being so busy and your attitude towards that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and you know what? It's been something that, especially over the past year, that I really wanted to be mindful about because there's seasons, right? There's seasons in everyone's life. And there was, when I had little ones, I wasn't home with them. There was no nanny. There was no, like, I was with them all the time. And I wanted that. That was the path I chose. During that time, I had all these dreams and wishes and things that I was thinking about within my career that I really wanted to go after, but I couldn't do it. I didn't have the time and the ability to do that. But I was kind of priming myself and studying and listening, listening to people. I did a lot of listening to Gary Vee and reading books and just the things that I could do at that time. And I feel like that primed me for the next season, which is the season I'm in now, where I have all these things that I've always wanted to do and I'm going after them. And I'm putting action behind all these things that I've dreamed about. And what I want to be mindful about is that now that I'm doing all these things, and as we've mentioned, the different things I have going on, I want to enjoy the passage of time. I want to enjoy the process of doing this. And I think it's important for me to remember that all of the things I'm doing now were decisions that I made.
Mm.
I think sometimes people can be like, "Oh, I'm so busy." And it's like, "Well, we all have choices." And we are all making the decisions to live the life that we want to live. We aren't a victim of our life or our choices or our daily activities. We are the ones making those decisions. And I feel like that mindset for me has helped me embrace all the things I have going on. It's nuts. Like there are sometimes when I'm like, whoa, it's almost too much sometimes. And those moments I kind of pull back. I make adjustments. But I think it's important to be honest with yourself about how you spend your days. Like these are the decisions I wanted to make, and I'm happy with it. And so that's helped me mentally kind of embrace all that I have going on and knowing that again, this is a season two. This isn't going to be how everything is always. So I think it's kind of helped me scale as I've grown and I've tried to do more things. But it's helped my mentality to enjoy the process more instead of feel busy. I think everyone always talks about like it's not good to be busy or whatever. I'm like, I don't know the vernacular that people want to use or how they want to phrase it. I am I am doing a lot of things, but I'm enjoying it, and I think that's the key.
Yeah, that's so many wonderful things you said in there, and I too, like Rich and Anthony, we have a lot of balls in the air, and I think the human aspect of it, a lot of people have the tendency to have that as a negative. Oh my God, I'm so busy, and almost romanticizing the negativity of being busy.
Yeah.
But the reality is, I've gone through similar things recently where I'm like, listen, this is a choice, and I'm lucky enough to be able to have all of these different opportunities. And I could say yes or no to a lot of opportunities because I have that choice at this stage in my life. And a lot of things that Anthony and Rich and I are doing, we have that choice. So we talk about those choices and the benefit of those opportunities. I want to hear from Rich and Anthony in a minute as well. But really quickly, if you could sort of, we talked about this a little bit offline as well. You're a very successful entrepreneur with your sister. You are female, obviously you're female as well. And as much as we don't want to have to highlight that, but it is in this patriarchal society, it is an achievement, and it is worth noting, so that others could sort of, other females that say, hey, I can't do it. I have 3 kids, I'm at home. Well, like you said, you can do certain things at certain stages. And granted, circumstances dictate things sometimes out of our control that makes it more or less challenging, right? But can you speak to your success overall as an entrepreneur, what your leadership style is, and if you want to hit on the female aspect of it, have you been impacted by that? How have you been impacted that? You can. If not, that's okay too.
Yeah, well, let's hit that first then, because I'm happy to talk about it. And it's funny, so many things always go back to certain staples in my life, and for me, that one goes back to my mom. I really never, I didn't ever think anything. I didn't think there was ever a disadvantage. I had no idea. Like my whole life, my parents raised me, my mom and my dad raised me that I could do anything and I was incredible and I was so I had no limitations spoken into my life. I had no idea that being a female might, like, I didn't know anything about a pay difference or this or that, all the things that you learn later in life. I had no idea. And so I never it never impacted me. I always just felt like I'm here. It doesn't matter whether I'm male or female. It had no play into my mindset. So that was a huge gift from my parents because I'm wired that way. And so I, and then as I've gotten into and I've gotten older, and frankly, having 3 daughters, that has probably pushed me more into wanting to make sure that women are empowered more than my own journey, because they're my babies, and I want them to have the same tenacity as far as like you can do anything. Being female has nothing to like that is a part of who you are, but that isn't gonna hinder you in any way. Which luckily that's so ingrained in me, it's gonna be ingrained in them. But what I have loved to do and what I think is important is really surround myself with women leaders. And I have many of them that I look up to, that I appreciate, that are incredible powers of good in our world. One of them is my sister, who I work with all the time, Sarah Noose. Claude Silver, I love her, and I reach out to her occasionally just because I want her in my orbit. She is the chief heart officer at Vayner X or Vayner Everything, with Gary Vee. She's a right hand to him. Kara Golden, who is the creator of Hint. I have reached out with her and connected with her. Sarah Blakely, who's the creator of Spanx. So for me, to be perfectly honest, I have jaded myself in a way to be like, women are like these are my people. These are the people I think about, that I talk about, that when I talk to other people, these are the examples that I'm dreaming of and thinking of and appreciating and learning from. And so I'm inundated by that. And it's interesting because I almost feel like in a way it's a non-issue because it's just a part of my flow. That's just a part of what I'm surrounded by all the time. And then I have other people. Of course, I'm not just all female. There's so many people that I admire and I look up to. Chad Sanchagrin and Scott McGregor and all these other people that I have in my ecosystem that I get to resource all the time, and I appreciate it and I love it. What I do love is I have always, when you're talking about leadership and kind of my approach to leadership, is a lot of times people will be like, "God, you're so authentic," which sometimes I'm like, does that mean I'm like rough around the edges? Like, I don't really know what that means. Are you, is that good? Or are you just saying, wow, you're super casual and off the cuff and, okay. I don't really care. It is what it is. It's so much easier for me to just be myself. And so that's how I am in my leadership roles. And long before I ever was talking about leadership, I was just being myself and wanting to take care of the people around me. And I've been in a position of leadership my whole life, pretty much. Really, I mean, when I was started to be the first class I taught, I was 18. So I've always been in a position of leadership, and I've always just been myself. And I've always wanted to take care of people around me and serve them and make sure they were feeling good. And then the reality of being a leader is you're problem solving all the time. That's really, when I talk to our franchise owners, I'm like, if you can solve problems and take care of people around you, then that's good. Like, that's what our days are filled with as an entrepreneur. And I'm just really true to myself, true to my instincts, taking care of people and wanting to serve other people. And I think that combination is like the backbone of how I lead, is kind of that combination.
Awesome, awesome. Authenticity is breeds trust and respect, and I think that's the key uh, to quality leadership as well. Anthony, Rich, you just chime in as well.
You mentioned so many things. If I don't know where to begin, and I'm scribbling things down as you're saying them. But two things come to mind. One is probably less deep than the other one, so I'll go with the more superficial one for the moment. I'm thinking of Stephen Covey, and one of his. I think it was his originally. It may have been someone else's, where he talked about doing things that are important but not urgent. And it sounds to me like you have that gene, where you've developed that competency way back with keeping in as much as keeping all those balls up in the air.
Yes, totally. And I really, I think it's as we were talking about before, is that when you do feel like everything, I try to remind myself I'm not doing brain surgery. I'm not, like the world isn't waiting for every decision I make. And so I just need to use my best judgment as I'm going forward each day. And there are decisions I'm making constantly about which way to go, and what the next most important thing is to do. And that's really kind of how I prioritize my days.
And that drills down actually to my second point. And then Anthony, I'm sure we'll have lots of things to take you through into in a moment. We talked about that futurist word back before we got online, and you strike me as an exemplar of futuring, of futurists, and so forth from a number of different counts. I mean, if you decide, as you and your sister have done, to start a franchise, an international franchise, I mean, that's future. And in other words, you saw the opportunity and the attraction of what you've co-designed to attract people from all around the world. I mean, that's taking an opportunity that you see and then leveraging it back over to offering it through dancing. But it's really deeper than that as well, which we can come back to in a moment. Because everything I hear about you is purpose. You use the word in one
Yes.
form or another, and good futuring, planning, if you want to use that word, strategizing, whatever word you want to use, obviously I like the futuring word, speaks to being very much grounded, embedded into your purpose. I'm not sure exactly if you've enunciated the purpose, but I'm hearing that purpose word and everything that you're saying.
I appreciate you saying that and pulling that out because I think you're right. I don't know that I've said that, but it is absolutely what has driven me and why I want to continue to strive to do more. When we started Tippy Toes, a lot of times we say we're more than dance, and we picture dance is our vehicle to reach families and kids and communities and impact them in a really positive way. And dance is just that vehicle. Now we definitely are teaching them choreography. They're learning all the things, they're doing all that, but we're also building confidence. We're showing kids that they can do things that are hard and they can get better at things. We're showing them that activity is really fun. We're showing them that being active is healthy and a positive thing. Those are the things that we are excited about. We love being a positive thing in a community. We talk a lot of times to the staff that teach, we say, you don't know what the rest of their week is like. These are our students, our kids who are all under 12, but we know the 45 minutes they're with Tippy Toes, they are going to feel loved. They're going to feel appreciated. They're going to be celebrated. They're going to hear their names spoken multiple times in celebration of what they're working on and their effort. That drives me like nothing else in the world. I am so motivated by that. The fact that there are kids in China now that are having that same exact experience gives me goosebumps. I'm overwhelmed by it, and it is absolutely how we've gotten here. I will say, when we started Tippy Toes, I don't want to act like I had any idea that we would be where we are right now. Like when we started, I didn't know that it would necessarily be what it is today. But I wanted everybody to get to do Tippy Toes. You know what I mean? So I feel like I didn't see this path, but I was so excited and loved what we did so much that I wanted everyone to do that.
And that
Um,
I'm sorry, I cut you off. Excuse me.
no, you're good. You go ahead.
And that vibrates over to the two new careers you have.
Absolutely. That's where I was going. That's exactly right. With a podcast, I mean, it was literally like I'm at home putting my kids to bed, rocking them to bed, thinking, man, I want to do right by you. I want to get this right. Why not talk to the people that have done what I'm trying to do? And so that's absolutely where the podcast came from. And then to be perfectly honest, through that, then all of a sudden the radio show is different, having this radio show on BYLR radio a little bit, because it's kind of been like, oh, I like this. This is kind of fun. And it has been, I don't know. It's still so early. I'm still kind of figuring out that purpose, but it's been well received. And so I'm like, okay, I'll just keep leaning into that because it's super fun and very easy for me. And that's another thing. I think when you're leaning into something that comes really naturally to you, for us, my sister and I danced our whole life. So when we started when Sarah started it, it was really easy. Like she needed to make a car payment and she could easily go do that. And so it's really started with leaning into the things that come naturally. And for both of us, I mean, teaching a dance class is such a blast and so fun and takes no prep on my part because I could just go in and do it without any issue. So I think that also finding the things that come really naturally to you. And then when you're motivated by the purpose, that's, I think, where the drive comes from to continue for so many years.
Yeah, and I have to add the theme of taking action is everywhere as well. And nothing happens without taking that action. And all those balls in the air mean you're taking action on multiple things at the same time too, which is highly prevalent in everything you're saying. It doesn't come easy is what I'm telling to the audience. It takes a lot of work and perseverance, but driven by that purpose and what you're passionate about, I think is the key. Anthony?
Yeah, first of all, it's a treat listening to you. For someone so young to have such a mature and sophisticated view of life, of work. Many of us, including yours truly, are still grappling with that.
Anthony, I just would like to repeat that you just called me sophisticated. I think that's a first. So thank you. I'd just like to highlight that for a minute.
Megan Riley, very sophisticated in your thinking, and and I mean that sincerely.
Thank you.
The thing that's evolved in this conversation, short conversation, like Rich used the word purpose, but we started with the word busy, and busy does not cut it. Because everything I've heard you say is that the work that you do is meaningful.
Yes.
And that to me, is something that some people live an entire lifetime and never find, or live a lifetime of being busy, but not really accomplishing anything meaningful. And I think that's such an important lesson. And it's not something that we necessarily learn. Maybe we learned it from my parents. I know I learned it from my mother. And like you have just mentioned, she used to say to me this old adage that if you love what you do, you don't work a day in your life. And that's how I've been lucky. And
Right.
it seems that you have had that, same kind of luck. And it's not just luck, it's someone who helps bring you to that person. You listed a whole slew of people who have influenced you. We don't always stop, and I hate to use the word stop and smell the roses, but you said something that was really important in your opening dialogue, and that was seasons and enjoying the seasons. Too often we don't do that, and that's what I mean by, and one of the reasons behind my word sophistication. So it's really been a pleasure listening to you. The things you're doing, that they're all meaningful. The greatest thing is very similar to us as educators, and that was your comment about how you want those kids to feel the 45 minutes that they're with you. And they may be the only 45 minutes of happy time that they have in their lives every day. So, that to me, it's not about dance, and it's not even about making money.
Right.
It's about doing something meaningful. So it's really been a pleasure listening to you. And you probably do a very good job of juggling all those balls.
I'm getting used to it, that's for sure. Well, I really appreciate you saying that. And I think it is important to highlight the meaning behind what I do, because I think as, whether you're talking to somebody, it doesn't really matter where they are in their journey. I think pursuing something that means something to you is, for me, the key, because I work a ton. The truth is I work a lot, but I love it. And if I'm not with my family, I want to be doing this. I don't want to go shop. I don't really, honestly, I don't want to go have a play date. I want to work. I enjoy this. I have so much fun with this. I love helping our franchisor. I love this so much. And I think that's an important part if you're looking for making an impact, because you have to spend the time doing whatever it is that you are passionate about. For you guys, the time that you've spent in education, it means something to you. So you want to spend the time there, and I recently had the opportunity. I'm in Talent Champions Council, which is something that Scott McGregor on LinkedIn has developed, and it's awesome. I was on a webinar with with Coach Vermeil, and he said something right off the bat that was so awesome. And he said, hard work is not a punishment. And it's kind of like, as we're talking about this, about meaning and whatever, like for me, it's a privilege to do what I do. I love it so much. And it's because the meaning is there. And so the hard work, you think about it, if you can't do the hard work, you might have difficult things going on that don't allow you to work hard. Like, it's actually a great thing to be able to work towards something that you love. That means you're capable of doing it. That means you have the mentality to do that. It means you're strong in mind and body and spirit, and you're able to do that. And so I think having that meaning is really important, because whatever you're going to do, you have to put the reps in, as everybody says. You have to spend the time doing whatever you're doing. And as a leader, I think anybody in those leadership positions, you have to spend time being a leader. I think, and I have worked on getting better at it, and continue to want, COVID pushed me in a different way. I needed to make sure I was still showing up as a leader that I needed to be during that time. And good thing I love it, because I needed to spend some time and get better at it during COVID, because I had to do it differently. And so I think anything that you're doing, you have to love it in order to push yourself to continue to grow and get better at whatever that thing is.
Very well said.
Yeah. So Megan, I want to wrap up, and hopefully you'll be on again. Megan, we'd love having you on and talking to you. But I know you are busy too.
Anytime. This was so fun. This is awesome. Anytime.
So I just want to give a real quick opportunity for Rich and Anthony, last final thoughts. And although you kind of gave a great closing statement, I'm going to give you the last word, Megan. And I'm hearing so much humility and reflection, self-reflection, and understanding of being mindfulness and and the capacity and ability to grow from your experiences, which is in itself a successful formula for life in general, but especially in the leadership space. So thank you for just verbalizing that aspect of leadership throughout everything you're saying. Anthony, and then Rich, and then Megan, you could have that final word.
Okay.
I thoroughly enjoyed this, and I do hope you come back, Megan, and I hope that we get to see all that you accomplish. And the last thing that I want to say is that in listening to you also, you exude a great energy. And that is something that not everybody has either. And putting that energy in the right place. So, kudos to you, kudos to your own development, and I wish you the best of luck in all your endeavors.
Thank you, Anthony.
Rich?
The word energy is a great word, just a great word. And energy comes from being grounded. And you are one grounded person, no question about that. And your enthusiasm, your zeal, and your complete commitment goes again back to twined with that premise of purpose. Say that 3 times. Twined with that premise of purpose is really refreshing. It's refreshing to see that virtually everyone we've had on, who are all leaders in their own right in different dimensions, different places, have shown some of the same things you have, but you sort of take the cake on that as well. And the last thing I want to say is someone who's probably sat through, I want to say 50 dance recitals in my 3 daughters' collective lifetime. Not always with a smile on my face in the but being very pleased with seeing the hard work that the kids put in and that the teachers have brought them through. I appreciate that much more as well.
Well, Rich, you would love how we do our recitals. We do 30-minute recitals with parents in mind. We are like, listen, we love our kiddos. Nobody wants to sit through 3 hours of a dance recital. Ours are 30 minutes in and out.
Oh, if only I had that.
Now I got granddaughters. I have to sit. I shouldn't say it that way. Now I have 2 granddaughters.
Careful.
Let us leave it at that. And they're 3 hours long.
So Megan, final thoughts from you. Thank you again, but final thoughts from you.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it. And really just thank you. You guys have been beyond generous with everything, and I appreciate it. And I want to say, kind of just wrapping up with what those 2 last comments were from you all, is that everybody, I am showing up as myself, and that's so easy to do. If we can all just be ourselves, everyone's going to have a different skill set, and everyone's going to have a different thing to add to the table. And I think that's the key, is to not be trying to fit into what you think a leader needs to be, or what you think that person that you're talking to wants to hear. But if you're bringing yourself to the table, then you're going to win, because nobody else is going to do that. So you're going to add something that nobody else can add. And I feel like as a leader, what I always want to do is let the people around me know that I want them showing up as themselves, not as the version that they think I want or that the company needs or whatever. They are an ad. They bring their own thing. And I think, honestly, I think it's certainly some luck in just having, how I was raised or whatever, that I've always just shown up as myself, and it has worked, and it has taken no skill, to be honest. That's just how I've done it. But I've learned that other people don't always do that. And I think it's a misstep, because it makes it a lot harder to try to be something that you're not. And maybe that doesn't mean you're going to be the speaker, or maybe that doesn't mean you're going to have this certain role, but whatever role you are meant to have that is so natural and a happy place for you is a place you're going to thrive. And you might, it's like, give it a chance, give yourself a chance, give your personality and your talents a chance to thrive in the place that they are meant to be. And I feel like that has worked well for me. And I want to encourage other people to one, appreciate people for who they are, and not trying to change them, but appreciate them and find, see what they can bring to the table as themselves. And 2, be comfortable in your own skin, because you have the market on being yourself, and nobody else can do it better than you.
Thank you again, Megan.
Very well said.
Good luck. We'll put some of those links in this share this out as well. We'll put the radio host, the podcast, all the stuff you're doing, feel free to add to whatever posts we have and share away. Again, pleasure having you. Really, really love the time with you again. And we will look forward to seeing you again on the show at some point. So thank you so much, Meg.